Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Alvora Tactics. During the last part, I explored the Crub Reefs, and in between this and the previous part, I did some more level grinding in preparation for the final encounter with the final boss. And while doing so, while I was exploring the underground Overgrown Caverns, I stumbled upon this giant Spidest. Yep, I finally found this giant spider for the second time. I didn't expect it to be that hard to find, but apparently it is. And I think there is also another giant boss in the Crub Reefs, as well as the Golden Palace, but I'll tackle those in an extra part. Not to mention some extra parties that I skipped over, like the Ignis Knights in this region. I'll also show them off in an extra part, following the defeat of the final boss. Anyways, let's take care of the Spidest. Yeah, the giant spiders. The last time I faced the Spidest was way back in Alvora Tactics, in an optional area of the mines. And in order to access that, you need to use pickaxes in order to dig through the rock. Alright, let's get ready. Let's do the first attack by just setting it on fire. After all, I think Spidests are weak against the fire because all the spiders are. Yep, they are. So let's ignite it. Not to mention that'll make it easier to see where the giant boss is. Drip Fang. Alright, time to fight this. Let me see, can I get it in range? Gate cross. Yes, I can get it in time. Wonderful. Morana, can I throw this down? Yeah, unfortunately I can't throw down turrets right in front of people, sadly. I can do this and just keep throwing remote flares, that'll be helpful. For Varan, because it's going to... Will it move out of the way? No, it won't actually. Wonderful. So I can do another Gate Magma immediately. That's nice. Like I said, I wish there were more skills that I could use in order to get better initiative. I know that some classes do have them, but it's only by 1 or 3. Well then, I suppose it's for balance reasons, more so than anything else. I'm a little bit concerned what the attacks will be, but let's see how it goes. Oh, and sadly Ophelia is kind of out of the fray, but she'll move in close enough. So everyone gets regen, and we ignite it on fire again. That's a very good first turn, especially because we wiped out most of its health in one move. Then again, we have a lot of people who can use fire attacks, so I suppose it makes it easier that way. Whoa. Alright. That was much easier than expected. Essentially what happened there was it was going to do a jump attack, but then it activated all the physical counterattacks. So Sorvin counterattacked as well as Farron. Okay then, I was expecting a much tougher boss fight. I'm not complaining though. At least I showed off this extra boss. Not to mention I get the Spidest Fang, which works the same way as it did in the original game. So it'll give me poison attack if I use it, if I give it on my equipment. And you know what? I think I'll give the poison to... I think I'll give it to Willis. Either Willis or... Well, I gave the lightning trigger to Sorvin, so I'll equip the Spidest Fang on the Steel Spear so I can actually get the poison damage. Alright then, so off screen, I'll return back to town, purchase some items, and then I'll meet you at the final cave. So see you then. Well, I was going to meet you there at the final cave, but apparently there's another giant spider here. Seriously, I thought these were just unique bosses, but no, you can actually fight multiple of them at once. That's neat. Alright, I'm gonna be fighting this one before I continue on. That set of brambles is so annoying though. Alright, let me reapply this buff, and then I'll begin the boss fight. After all, I should give everyone the... I didn't realize it in Alvora Tactics when I should have, but good morale provides such a great benefit to my characters. Even more so compared to a few other things. Alright, time to ignite it on fire once again. Yeah, and the penalties of having bad morale are also pretty severe. Alright, let's move up a little bit closer and begin our onslaught. Once again, this Spidest is quite too slow to actually get in action fast enough. Well, it's to my benefit at least. As usual, just ignite it on fire again. Meanwhile, Willis can... Let's guard everything. Oh, I meant to use wide guard there, that was my fault. Sure, let's increase the growth rates. Meanwhile, Ophelia can get over here and wait for the attacks to start coming. Yeah, with my current party setup and all of the attacks I have, taking care of spiders are really easy. Not to mention because of the sustained burning damage, and the fact that I can burn down the leaves means that I can easily put on the pressure on these spiders. And if it decides to do a jump attack like this, Sorbin will counterattack and Farron will also counterattack, meaning that this will die. Well then, that means I get another Spidest Fang. Maybe I think I'll put it on her Dragon Pistol or something else. Because the Steel Spear is a good place, but I don't want to put Vron up close, so... I think I'll give it on I'll put the poison thing on the Steel Crossbow. So on the Steel Spear and this crossbow. So that should do it. Once again, if I don't find another Spidest, I'll meet you at the final cave. Well, we're going for 3 for 1 this time. We have another Spidest. Yeah, at this point I'm not gonna be going to the cave just yet until I clear out this entire area. This place is full of giant spiders, it seems. Well, the general strategy still holds. Just get close to it and set it on fire. Just imagine how stronger it would be if I specialized in fire attacks. Meanwhile, yeah, Morana can actually hit from here, so I'll just use a Dragon Pistol, which I got during the final party encounter. I'd rather just do a wide guard over here, so that everyone survives. Not really the leap attack does that much damage. If I fought it about the same point as when I fought it back in the mines in Voidspire Tactics or much earlier in the game, this would have been a lot more dangerous. That's for sure. Now, if there was only one way to accelerate how fast my turns went, that way I can get through these battles quickly. That was foolish. Yeah, I'm going to be selling off all of these extra Spidest Fangs if necessary. I do have two steel crossbows, but after that, I will start selling it off. Oh, and in these web sacks, you can find a whole bunch of other things. A lot of dead animals, though, but some gold. Yeah, a lot of animals, or maybe even a combination of animals and humans died here. Or at least humanoids. Like I said, I'm going to be exploring this at least one more time, then I'll cut over to the final cave. Okay, here's where I fought the second Spidest. Let's see where this leads up to. Okay, this leads out of this place. So, like I said, I'll meet you at the final cave. Alright, I'm near the final cave entrance of Alvora. But just before I reach there, lo and behold, Mort and his party is back for a rematch. Let's see if our last bag of tricks will work wonders against them just like last time. That is, placing turrets before the fight begins to make minced meat out of the first two allies. So let's try it and see if that works. So place a turret down here. And place a turret down here. That should easily make mincemeat out of the first one. And now we get initiative. I checked, they have their same spiel about threatening their livelihoods and what else. So let's do this. And then after this, I'll do my final upgrades, and then I'll apply all the stats and show off all the equipment I got. Then I'll go to the final cave. I would also throw a remote flare about here. This is kind of risky on Morana's part, but we'll see. I wish I could teleport her away, but yeah, that's gonna take too long. Well, let's try it and see what happens. Unfortunately I can't get too close, but good enough. Alright, we're just trying to advance close enough so we can deal some good amounts of damage. Now if they stay in the same direction, or at least look in the same direction, I can easily blind them with the void ability. That wide guard is not going to be that helpful in the long run. Oh, that miss was terrible. Well, at least we blinded a few of them. Once again, oh yeah, most of their party members are blinded. This is going to make it a lot easier. As usual, another onslaught. Farron, well... Oh wow, her movement is blocked for some reason. Yeah, she really needs healing, Morana that is. I'm gonna try killing off this one at least. Unfortunately, he also has counterattack. Thankfully, I can retreat backwards. Then I'm gonna kill off Tool Dove. With Willis, well, same as before, kill off this one. I'm gonna try taking care of as many of them as possible. After all, they have a pretty large party. I'm gonna try at least stunning them. Wow. Never mind, I did a lot of... Oh, I forgot there was that summon flare over there. And I just blew it up. Oh, that's bad. Oh, Ophelia's gonna die if I don't do something quickly. Unfortunately, she is going to. Oh, never mind, they didn't target Ophelia. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, Willis is almost dead, too. Better heal him up. We could only reach there. I think I can, at the very least. Oh, Willis can finish off the duel, never mind. Now just to make sure we don't get hit by these turrets or something. Well, down goes Mort's party again. Let's see if they have any more good gear. Yeah, another Volt Greatsword. Do they have the same gear as before? In that case, well, that's quite awesome. But I'm not going to be returning back to the store for this one. As if I defeat the boss, I think it'll count as finishing the game or something. Wow, they do have all the same equipment. I can imagine if you return here after a while, you can get a lot of good grinding done. And easily sell off a lot of the gear because we also have the Mithril Sword, which you can also melt down back into Mithril if need be. The Dragon Pistol, of course, is going to Morana. It's a wonderful item. Oh, the Volscorn Gauntlets. I would give it to Farron, but she really needs the Life Bead necklace, so... let's give it to him. He needs more strength anyway. I hope at least. Oh, and another good... yeah, you can easily just repeat the fight over and over and get a lot of good gear. Especially as we can easily get a lot of mithril gear and just melt it down into mithril ore, sell it, or just use it as direct upgrade fodder because it gives +1 physical defense to our armor. Which would be great for Ophelia, Sorvin, or Willis. Not to mention our mages too, if we really want to. I actually realized by this point that we don't really have that much magical defense for some reason, which is unfortunate. Yeah, that goes to Sorvin. I also realized that I neglected to look at a lot of the items in the game, so we're going to have a lot of journal entries being unfulfilled or unfilled, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Not to mention there are a lot of other areas that I skipped over. Not to mention I don't even have the ultimate gear of the game. Apparently you can randomly get the ultimate gear from either from random drops thanks to procedural generation, also probably in the secret area if I didn't reach it yet, or perhaps by buying it from Lorem randomly, but it's really expensive, up to 400 to 1000 gold pieces. Yikes. You'll have to grind quite a bit before you can actually get it. But yeah, if it ends the game right now, I'll just reload a save and continue onwards because there are some parties that I want to show off, or some enemy parties that I didn't face, and I realized I didn't fight any Crubs on screen. Also, when I was traveling here, I got another huge gem for one of those other enemies, so that's really helpful. I also have a lot of steel crossbows. I would have liked to have a mithril crossbow, or at least one more mithril piece, especially for if either Sorvin or Willis. Ophelia's in good shape with the Volt one, or maybe even the bows, but steel's good enough. After all, especially in normal mode, the mithril gear, specifically in mithril armor, isn't really that necessary. Mithril weapons are pretty nice because it gets +1 attack, but it's not that necessary. Plus the ultimate gear, which can give up to about +10 attack or much better effects, that's not really that necessary either. My party's almost ready, there's this one last thing I have to do. Now I have to apply all the stars I got over the course of this training session. So let's first increase her HP. I want to get everyone as close as possible to 40 HP. Tailwind will be really useful, because having +1 movement is extremely useful. Yeah, off screen I also bought the focus upgrade, which gives everyone +1 to their magical attack. Too bad I didn't have enough gold left over to buy the 800 one. Although I have a lot of gold from defeating Mort's party. Like I said, you can keep rinsing and repeating until you get a lot of gold, but it takes a while for him to respawn or something. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, because I have +5% experience maintenance, I can do stuff like this. Let's see. That should be it for that. Alright, time for Ophelia. Yeah, let's go for full HP build. She really needs the HP. Well, now she's maxed out in that regard. I don't really have any use for spending any of these, other than more MP, that's always nice. Sure, more life. Because she's going to be pure fire, there's nothing really else of use to her, sadly. I don't have enough stars to spend otherwise. Oh yeah, and I probably should be upgrading some of these other things. Like Bite, for example. That may be useful during the final fight. Okay, Veron, yeah, let's finalize Ice. Well, why not? And Wind, for that matter. Let's see... Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay, Gatekeeper. I don't really have anything else I can upgrade other than... Sure, let's buy everything else. So that should be it for Veron. Now let's do Willis. Once again, Yeah, more HP. At this point, let's buy a shield. That should be it for him. Still, the more MP the better. He's more of a pure physical fighter, but even then, having more MP does count because several of his utilities do cost MP. Okay, that should be it for Willis. Sorvin. Now let's give him more hammer for a change. I do have one other thing to make up for that. Yeah, I can't believe that for all this time when I've been playing through Sorvin, I've neglected to upgrade his shield skill even though he's been using his shield for all this time. That's quite embarrassing, especially because it makes it much more useful. Whoops. Kind of embarrassing. And quite unfortunate because that would have been really useful throughout my journey because, well, he uses shields. Okay, Warp Blade. Gate Shield, of course. I think I'll keep the rest as is. I think it's good. Now, Farron. Life, of course. She has way more than enough MP, but we need to increase her life skill. Well, that should be it for her, I believe. Almost, for her main class, that is. Yeah, no use for this. Unfortunately, I can't really upgrade her bows. I forgot to do that during grinding. But I suppose during the final boss fight, she'll be spending most of her time healing. And Morana's already set, so we're almost ready. So let me show the final stats for all my characters. All my base equipment, and what else? Pause the video if you need to see it, because I'll be quickly moving through it. And also off screen I got some gooplets which allow me to either have a 50% chance to mobilize enemies or 50% immobility resistance. And last but not least, I did purchase in the shop a volcanic bake meat. Unfortunately, you can only purchase one of them. I thought you could buy an infinite supply of them. So we're going to be applying it to Ophelia because she's our... well, never mind. I want to get everyone up to 40 HP as much as possible, so Sorvin will get it. Last but not least, we have one more Moss Melt. That's the only thing that seems to have infinite supply of. And really, I'll give it to Morana because more MP for her would be useful. Not to mention, the Estus Stone really won't be that helpful right now, so I think we're almost all set. Last thing is, of course, the stats. It's quite interesting seeing how far our party has progressed since the beginning of the game, where they were relative weaklings and now they've grown to their own powerhouses. Specifically for normal mode, I don't know how much more difficult the game will be on harder difficulties. I dread playing this game on the hardest difficulty or the even harder unlockable difficulty, Ruin mode. And it kind of makes sense why my party started with more MP and HP compared to the original party in Voidspire Tactics. In this game, you set out with a seasoned party, or at least a somewhat trained party of adventurers or explorers to explore Alvora. But in the first game of Voidspire Tactics, or spiritual predecessor, you started out as a fresh-off-the-boat adventurer who is going to register as an adventurer party. That's why they started out much weaker, because of course they weren't really that trained. They were kind of like neophytes or novices, and they were thrown right into the fray of exploring the Voidspire, and they slowly grew up to be heroes. So in this game it makes sense why the HP and MP values are a little bit more inflated. But even then, they are relatively more sane, because we only have... most of the main human enemies have up to about 40 or 50 HP, humanoid. And the giant monsters have 100, but they're usually by themselves. Alright, let's do one final save, and let's go into this final cave and see what lies beyond. Well, we already destroyed the core of Alvora over here, so... I wonder what opened up this thing. Because we fought the core of Alvora here, and then we exited and re-entered, and now we have this passageway leading to something. What could be following the core of Alvora, though? Something is keeping it floating over the sea, or keeping it in the air, and if we destroy it, it'll fall into the ocean. So I suppose it's something like an air lung. Alright, everything I think is set. I have a lot more crossbows and pistols than I had in Voidspire. This is kind of crazy, but that's thanks to more grinding. So let's go through this final ominous passageway.